Hello everybody, this is a Lamley showcase. Hot Wheels Car Culture Terra Trek. I'm going to do the structure of this video a little different, so stick around if you want to see this stuff. I always like to show some previous models that, that are related somehow to this set. But I'm going to work through this. For those of you who just want to see the models, I'm going to work through the 5 Car Culture models for Terra Trek, and then we'll move over to that. So it's kind of in 2 parts. So you stick around for the latter part. Or if you just want to see the first part with just the models, me opening them up, we'll just do that. Nonetheless, here we are, three Car Culture sets left. Terra Trek, then Race Day with that highly desired Roxy chase, the first non-black chase, and then Modern Classics, then we're done for 2024. A few months left in the year, we'll see how they roll out. But this one is about to. Japan Historics is hitting right now in the United States. This will follow very closely, and then Race Day very soon after that. So we have the 5. It's obviously an off-road themed set, and we're going to work through those. And of course, the chase is here as well. Datsun King Cab Baja Custom. I will show this one. I showed this one. We're not going to open this one today, but we'll open these because I have a whole chase feature coming. Bear with me. You'll be happy that I don't open these. But let's get to it. All 5 of these models. And I think we can go in numerical order because we're just going to work through the set. So we will start here. Hummer H1. We'll start with the artwork. As you can see, and Hot Wheels has done this with Car Culture before. There's the Terra Trek logo. Obviously the model, it's the Gold Series, whatever the Gold Premium, whatever they're calling that. Here is the back with the 5 models. There is that when it hits. But ultimately, this is pretty sweet, the artwork here, where it's related. So we can walk through these really quickly. You have the Hummer H1, followed by, I assume, what will be number 2. Yep, the Jeep. And then you see right behind the Jeep is the Datsun. Behind the Datsun is the Land Cruiser. And behind the Land Cruiser is the Mitsubishi. And in this perpetual, behind the Mitsubishi is the Hummer, and we will go on forever and ever and ever through time. Time is a circle, right? Isn't that what McConaughey said? Anyway, let's get to it. All right, so we'll just put these right here. We'll start with number 1. It is the Hummer H1 Terra Trek. This is only the second time we have seen this casting, but it's nice to see it. It was a one-hit wonder, no longer. It's got a nice, it's a really cool casting. In fact, I'll show it. Here it is. Very quickly from Fast and Furious. This is the debut. I don't know if it was ever repeated. Maybe it's been in basic now. I'm not entirely sure. But very clean version of the Hummer H1 from Fast and Furious. And now we have one that is very similar. It gets a little more deco, less military, more off-road in its styling, and it's really, really nice. Let's go ahead and open it up. Have ourselves a look. Put it on the turntable so you can see it. Yeah, so some detailing in the doors. It's, I would call that a matte gray. Matte silver. It almost looks Zamak, but it's not with the detailing. But the paint's really nice. It is very much a matte color. Almost blue, too. Off-road rims, obviously. Not much to talk about, but I know there's a lot of people that like this casting, kind of that kind of retro vibe with the Hummer, and it's nice to see it return in a nice clean version as well. Camo version of this would be pretty fantastic. I wonder if that's something we will see one of these days. Let's go to number 2 in Terra Trek. 2020 Jeep Gladiator, another Fast and Furious debut. I didn't bring that one out, but we've seen it maybe in Car Culture as well. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. This art's so good. It's so good. All right, let's just open it up. Take a look at the model. This is of the models being released. This is the one I'm just not that fond of it. Here, I'll put these here until they blow away. I mean, it's fine. I just like Mopar Deco's that's a nice touch on this one. It has kind of an overland vibe with the little kit they put on the back. Obviously, that was part of the Fast and Furious. It's a nice casting. Variant of the basic that they did, but there's some elements to this premium that are different. So it's a nice model. As you can tell, I'm not that excited about it, but it's cool. This set I like the set. I think it's going to be an underrated set, to be perfectly honest. Number 3 of 5. This will be the most anticipated model. Clearly the one I would assume that will go the fastest. Well, besides this one. In fact, let's just show them both right now. You can see what they've done with the art. Same art, only this one turns black, which is what they do with all the chases, of course. Comparisons. I do like that we've seen lately the chases get not just turn black, but we're seeing more changes. Like they lose some deco. And in this case, there's two main changes here. Number one is the wheels. This one, the number 3 of 5, went from, I don't know what they're calling this off-road wheel, but like this, is that an 8 or 9 dot, 10 dot, 8 dot, I think. But I won't call, that's the Matchbox term. But it's, you know, an off-road kind of mag style, and then we get this more modern style. So that's one cool change. And then the second one is, of course, we have the Datsun deco, but some of the racing, the BF Goodrich and stuff, that's gone off of the for the chase, right? It's from the regular to the chase, and so the chase is just now a black truck with the Datsun logo on the side. It doesn't even, it's just embossed on the back. Charlie did this design. I think we talked about it at the sneak peeks. It's a really, really cool off-road design, and it's, you know, it's the Datsun King Cab, so it's very different than the 620. It's a more modern one, right? Would this be an 80s? I don't know if it'll say here, but let's just go ahead and we'll put that one off the side. Oh, raw base versus black base on the chase. I really like what they're doing with the chases. Of course, the big one will be next time with the pink one. All right, let's open it up. So we can get a closer look at the model. I just dig this one. Obviously, the color combination here is great. The red, white, and blue fits the Datsun. Fits the Datsun vibe. We get some racing deco on it. So this would this be a Datsun 720? Datsun King Cab Baja Custom. Obviously some custom elements to it to make it a Baja model. We're going to be talking Baja models in the second part of this video. That'll be pretty fun. So yeah, really dig this one. Charlie did a fantastic job on this model. I actually like the raw metal base and how the front guard looks good on this one. And the metal elements of it. It's just a really nice casting. I think people will definitely dig that one. It's going to be popular. All right, number 4 of 5. Put this here. Toyota Land Cruiser, third version of the Toyota Land Cruiser. Like that it's lifted. This is such a great, this is how I think of Land Cruisers. It's this silhouette. First version was in the Toyota set a few years ago. Liked it because this one was vibing, very much a Toyota vibe to it with the side stripes on it. So I really like that Land Cruiser looking that way. Then the Fast and Furious is actually quite good as well in this plain tan color. I don't remember what movie it's from, but really nice. I think of this one as well, and I just love that it's slightly lifted. It just has that perfect off-road vibe. And then this one, more Toyota vibing with this deco here in this kind of forest green color. FJ60. I mean, this looks so good. Let's open it up. Like, this is a really nice family. That's not going to stay. The Baja truck, the Datsun is the star. This might be the best one. Just in this clean, green, very off-road, I guess you could say off-road jungle style. I mean, and Toyotas all had these like side decos, these side striping. It was so, I don't know if there was a system to the, you know, when I think about 4Runners back from the 80s and 90s, or there's always this kind of deco that Toyota was doing, and so I love that Hot Wheels is replicating that in these. There's the wind. In these castings, and I just think, like, this family of Land Cruisers, I just think it's going to get better and better and better, and the fact that they're just slightly lifted makes it great. All right, let's just let these blow away again. We'll put that here, and then let's talk about number 5. So put the Land Cruisers like that. Mitsubishi Pajero Evolution. Obviously, this is its debuted in basic last year. It's been a super treasure hunt this year, and now we get it in premium and a nice clean version. Love the artwork here. The problem here is that the wheels here, which I mean, I think would have worked. Here we can, like, I think would have worked on this. I don't know, maybe they're too wide, but the low profile tires here and the big rims don't match the art, and I think for the off-road vibe, these rims don't work. So I'm a little surprised about this rim choice here, because I think the casting is great, and I mean, the fact that it's now been moved to premium, I assume we'll see other off-road versions, or we should say premium versions of this. Here it is. I mean, the rims are fine for like a street version, and from that perspective, it's great. But in terms of the Terra Trek theme, I think the Land Cruiser, here, where are they? I think the Land Cruiser wheels, oh, you can just use it from this one, would have worked. I think like just, I don't know. Anyway. So, I mean, not a huge complaint. I'm happy to see this casting. I know a lot of people love this Pajero, and I love this tiny little two-door version of this. They should do a Suzuki Samurai too, don't you think? I don't know, maybe there's some difficult license there. This one looks really nice. Nice clean deco, full detail on the front and back. Mitsubishi detail on the spare tire. I just think this one is awesome. And you know what? That's a great set. How's the wind not blowing these over? You guys tell me what you think. We're going to move to part 2 of this video, but if you just wanted to see the models, there they are for you. For me, let's see here. I'm going to put my favorite so these cards don't totally blow away. I think, well, let's see. I think I'll go with those 3 as my favorites. I really do like it. I just wish the wheels were a little better. That's probably my favorite. The Datsun is, you don't care what my favorite is. You guys can tell me what it is. It's somewhere between these two. This one is okay. This one, I'm glad they're doing it. This one's very nice. It's a really cool set. But let's talk in part 2. And of course, there's the Chase, which I think is great. But let's talk in part 2 about kind of the Baja racing. We'll put these off to the side, put the Hummer over here. I always thought, I was just thinking about this one as a Baja Custom, the number 720 on it, just as like these Baja racing trucks. And so I pulled out a few, not everything by any means, but I thought what a cool family we could create. So we'll put the Datsun here and let's add to it. And there's quite a few that I pulled out. And we can go all the way back to like 2010 or 11 when Hot Wheels was doing just amazing racing sets. It started with vintage racing, and they had the drag strip Demons. They had, and then they did these racing sets at the Greenwood and the BMW E30 debuted in. But they also lifted the Silverado, the 83 Silverado. And while we've seen it in several decos since, this is the first one. It was done in this Baja Rally style deco. And so that's a first kind of like grandfather. I mean, there's plenty before that, but I just go back to that era and I only pulled out premium, by the way. So that 83 Silverado is one. From that very same set, I actually pulled 2 others. There's this Bronco. We'll visit the Ford Bronco again, but this is the custom vintage Ford Bronco, which, you know, has the obviously the modifications for a Baja race. It has the plastic wheel on top, which doesn't look great, but the real riders look really good on this one. And I think we've seen it, might have been in basic most of the time, but they did it for premium. It's really nice deco. And then Land Cruiser, actually, a modified Land Cruiser for Baja 2. And another casting we haven't seen a ton of. And I think the improvements on the castings these days make this one a little obsolete, but it's still cool. I think this is a Junimai design. Land Cruiser FJ40 is all it says here, but it's obviously customized for Baja racing. These all came from the same set. And there was the Celica, Pikes Peak. Celica was in there as well. So going into car culture, then we've had quite a few. Again, I haven't shown all of them. I didn't pull all of them, but I kind of looked for racing numbers. And if we had kind of a racing numbers, then I pulled it out. And so there was, I think, 2 or 3 from this set that I pulled out. This is the Baja Beetle. I think this was the debut of this casting. Obviously would fit in this race with the Datsun. This is one of the most underrated car culture models, I think, in general. The Baja Bruiser, it's the Oldsmobile 442. Now, it's not a truck, but then again, the Beetle's not a truck either. And I love the look of this one with the off-road tires, and another one that I would love to see more retro decos on. It's just a cool casting. I mean, I'm glad we have this version. I hope we get more, and I think fits nicely in this race as well. Keep on going from that same set, and you've got the Jeep Wagoneer, debuted in Boulevard in 2012 with the Porsche 993 with more of a factory look. Obviously, it's got the off-road modifications, but this one is more of the race. That one was wood paneled. This one has a more racing Baja vibe to it. Desert Rally, July 3rd. There's even a date on there. So this one's really cool too, especially with those black rims. I think that one is an off-roader. I'm trying to go through these fairly quickly. Another underrated casting, which surprises me because it came from Fast and Furious, and usually modified Fast and Furious cars are not my vibe, but I love this Camaro casting. And it hangs on the pegs, you know, and it came from the movie, flew out of a plane, I think. When they gave this one a Baja treatment, I just thought, So cool. And another one that I would love to see more of, because this, I mean, can you imagine this driving in the desert? You're waiting for these cars, for these trucks to fly by, and this Camaro, this customized Camaro flies by. I love this casting, and I love that it came from Fast and Furious. I mean, just wherever it came from. I think it's just super, super cool. And if you're creating this racing group of cars, I mean, how cool does that look? Bronco returns, but this is the new Bronco. There was the first version that they did in car culture, and now they've got this one. This was in American something. It was an American muscle or American car set. I like this color and the white rims. I think it's a really, really sharp color. And this one, you know, I've really liked the Broncos you see on the road that have this white trim. So I'm glad they went with this one with these with this Baja styling. I just think that one's rad. Color combination is my favorite thing here. Another underrated casting. I still see this model on the pegs. That off-road set, the last off-road set, didn't perform particularly well. We see the 4Runner going quickly and some others, but this one, this Range Rover Custom, that colored deco on this is so great. And as a Baja race car, I mean, it just fits that vintage racing vibe and a Baja vibe. And I mean, again, look what we're forming here. And look how these, like, driving through the desert are just so cool. Had to bring out the Macho Power Wagon. There's a couple different versions. I chose this one from Team Transport, this number 80. They did the Power Wagon in Pop Culture to start, and then we've seen it a few times since. This one is the one I like best in the Dodge Power Wagon deco. There's our Solari Bell. And then lastly, I haven't even done this showcase yet, but I already filmed it. I haven't posted it yet. But there's this one from Team Transport, the TRD Toyota Baja racing truck, which obviously makes a ton of sense here. There's been other releases, but this one from Team Transport that's coming very soon. It was one I had to put in here. There's a million other off-road trucks and other vehicles we could use, but I thought this formed kind of a perfect family, and the Datsun kind of works perfectly in there. You guys tell me what you think. I think this is a great... Actually, I'm going to cut in really quickly because there's one other car that I totally forgot about that just as a fantasy, I definitely want to add to this race. This was released, obviously, part of that NBC show, the Skyline. But like the Camaro, can't you see this casting get a full like Baja Rally style deco and, you know, be added to Team Transport or some sort of car culture line? This thing, I'm just saying, here's a request. I can really get into this Skyline as an off-road racer. Just thought that was a little added thought. You guys tell me what you think. Thanks, everybody. Bye.